Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Today's video is a transfer update, roundup, and a little bit of a stat and scout report on Connor Roberts. Now, I was going to wait till Monday to upload this video, but I do feel like the transfer window moves so fast that something could have completely changed by then, so this is going to go out on Saturday afternoon. Leeds have sent Djed Spence back, so there's a rotating door here, right? The first thing is that Leeds have sent Djed Spence back to Spurs now. Having listened to Daniel Farke's press conference today, Daniel Farke said he was a good lad. He was cool, kept saying he was cool, and that he just didn't think that Djed Spence aligned completely with the values that Daniel Farke holds and wants his players to hold. That was the kind of gist that I got of it, that he was basically saying that he expects a certain level of commitment maybe, and he kind of expects everybody to be pulling the weight in the same way, and maybe Djed Spence wasn't, so he's sending him back. When asked then if that's a priority area to fill, he kind of said, no, we did fine without Djed Spence when we were playing Archie Gray there and having Ayling as a backup, and that kind of worries me a little bit. But then we've got the news that, actually yesterday was the news that Ayling is being linked with a move to Middlesbrough. And then today it's broken that Leeds are being linked with a move for Connor Roberts from Burnley. So Connor Roberts obviously got promoted with Burnley last season. He hasn't played too much this season for Burnley at right back, but I'm going to have a little bit of a dive into his statistics from last season at right back. To see what sort of player he would be. And spoiler alert, he kind of fits the bill, really. So, well, the bill. I didn't even mean to make that joke, but obviously with Luke Ayling potentially going his move to Middlesbrough, he fits the bill for them. So last season he scored 4 goals. He got an XG of 3.18, so he outscored his XG, and a lot of people hate XG, but he basically scored more than he should have done. He put one away, basically, that was 1 or 2 away that were more than you would have expected him to. None of those were penalties. So obviously he's just scored his goals. He's 29 shots, 11 on target, and scored 4 from them, which is pretty decent for a right back. He got 6 assists last season, so 10 goal contributions in championship seasons. Not bad. Expected assist 3.5. Successful passes 2,374. By the way, these are all very much in the green. These are in like the 90th to 99th percentile, which percentiles, if it's in the 90th, he's in the top 10%. If it's in the 99th, he's in the top 1%. Pass accuracy 87.7%, which is something that is really, really good, and something that Leeds would need to see from a fullback. Really, I've just closed the statistics, so let me just get that back up again because that's annoying. So that's something that Leeds will really need to see from a right back who can retain possession a little bit more than what we have done in previous seasons, where we've tried to play through the lines and we've ended up losing the ball and being counter-attacked ourselves. He's really good at finding those accurate passes. Accurate long balls, 94. So that just shows that he's got that. That puts him in like the 98th percentile, by the way. So that just shows that he's got that ability to knock the ball forward. And to do it accurately, to play those accurate long passes forward to try and create space for his teammates and put the ball into good areas. And that's something that Ampadu does, something that we've seen Gruev has started to do as well, and something that if you had that in a right back position as well, a little bit like what Liverpool have with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I know I'm not comparing them any further than that, but just because of accurate long passing, that could be the sort of positions that Connor Roberts might take up. Long ball accuracy 51.6%, which puts him like up in the 90th percentile, so that's really, really good for that. Chances created 41. That is excellent, and if you're gonna have a fullback getting up the pitch, you want them to be able to create chances, and that puts him in like the 90th percentile, so in the top 10%. He did really well at creating chances. Successful crosses 10, which puts him in about the 50th percentile, so that's not actually that great, but we're not too bothered about that because how often do we actually cross the ball into the box? Cross accuracy is also 18.9%, but that could be due to the fact that the certain players that are playing for Burnley at the time, they didn't really have a big lump of a striker to put the ball on the head of. Pretty poor at dribbling, successful dribble 6, dribble success 37.5%. That puts him really low down in sort of the 30th percentile for both of those. So that's not the end of the world because we don't expect him to dribble that much, but touches 3,486 and touches in opposition box of 52, which are both very high, and fouls 149, which is also very, very high. It shows that Burnley were very, very much a possession-based team and had the ball up the opposition end of the pitch a lot of the time, and that is what Leeds will do, and that's what Leeds will continue to do. So it's something that we can kind of think about and say, okay, well, the amount of possession we have, it's good to have somebody like Connor Roberts to be able to get up there. Obviously, I haven't mentioned that this will be a loan deal. The Welshman is 28 years old, right-footed, right back for Burnley, and it would be a loan deal until the end of the season, which I'd be happy with. Defensively, leaves a little bit to be desired. Tackles won, duels won, and all that sort of thing. Is 25 tackles won, 136 duels won. Puts him down at probably the 50th and 60th percentile, respectively. He's not great in those situations, but then how often does he have to face them for Burnley, really? Or did he have to face them for Burnley when they're in the Championship? They're such a dominant and attacking team that he never really had to do much of that. So it's important that we note that, yeah, okay, he's not the best at tackles and coming up against tricky wingers and stuff, which is something maybe we do need to highlight as a potential issue with him, because when we saw what people like Jack Clark did to Archie Gray, then that could be still an issue for us. But he blocked 10 shots, 180 recoveries, possession won in final third, 17. That puts him all up in the 90th, 85th and 90th percentile, respectively. So those are really, really good statistics for him to have. Pressing high, winning the ball back in his own half, making recovery runs, getting the ball back, doing really, really well. He got 1 red card and 7 yellow cards, so it's not the end of the world. Obviously, the red card can be a bit of a blip in anyone's season, and you never know when you're going to get one. Melee got one for pushing whatever that bloke's face was for Preston. So for me, I think Connor Roberts would be a good sign into the end of the season. He's not someone I would, if we do get promoted, particularly want to take with us up to the Premier League just because of those underlying sort of weak points that you would say. But for the Championship and for how dominant we will be in the Championship, I actually think Connor Roberts is probably a very, very clever signing to get on loan, and especially if you're going to offload Luke Ayling as well, who, let's just say, I will talk about Luke Ayling more if he actually does go, because I think he's been a fantastic servant to the club. But that's just rumour at the moment. So if he does go, I will talk about him more. So I'm not just saying bye, thanks for nothing. But yeah, so that's kind of the transfer roundup at the moment. Leeds are rumoured to be in for another central defender from Hammarby, and also Charlie Cresswell is rumoured to be on the way out, but we'll have more on that when it appears, when the news comes up. I'd like to see Charlie Cresswell stay. I'd like to see us bring in another centre-back as well. To be honest, you can never have too much cover, especially considering that people like Strauch are out injured and things like that. So for me, Connor Roberts, go and get him on loan for 6 months, give him back at the end of the season. That's the deal for me at the moment. But that's been a kind of a transfer roundup of what's been happening lately, and a bit of an information on Connor Roberts. Obviously, international teammates with Dan James, Ethan Ampadu, and Joe Rodon. So we're basically becoming Wales FC, like when we became USA FC. But the more the merrier if they are improving our side. And I think Connor Roberts would do that at right back, and it'd allow Archie Gray to go back into his natural position. So I think that would be a good move for everybody involved, and get Connor Roberts some game time, get Leeds a right back, and try and push towards promotion. But yeah, that's it from Leeds Lately this time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.